So you want to know how to win an argument without making enemies. Don't worry, I don't need to know why. We all have our reasons. By the end of this video, you'll have learned 5 skills that'll help you win an argument without making enemies. In other words, you won't find yourself saying things like, "You are really dumb. You know that? Your mama. You know what? F this, F you, I'm done." You got a lot of nerve saying that to me. You get on my last nerves. We've all been there. The cool part about learning how to win an argument without making enemies is the skills that you need to do this also transfer over into any other conversation, thus helping you communicate better overall. Christopher Buckley said that's the beauty of argument. If you argue correctly, you're never wrong. Why does that matter? It matters because lack of communication is one of the biggest relationship problems. We've all said things that we didn't mean when we were really angry, and that really can damage a relationship, not just the intimate ones. So with practicing these skills, you'll be able to keep your cool and not lose your sugar honey iced tea, and improve your communication in all of your relationships. Double whammy. I love saying that. If you're new here, hi. I'm Ty, and I love talking about personal development and motherhood. You can connect with me here or on my blog, grawminds.com. Okay, let's get into it. Number 1, which is the most important one, don't look at it like an argument. If you've been watching my videos, you know that I'm all about strengthening the mindset, and that's what number 1 is about. Robert Quillen said discussion is an exchange of knowledge, argument an exchange of ignorance. Which one do you want to be? So look at it as an opportunity to share ideas. This perspective opens you both up and makes you less defensive and more receptive to each other's ideas and points of views. If you can just look at it as gaining insight on another person's beliefs around a particular thing, then there is no need to be right or wrong. There is no winner or loser. Just information being shared, which means there's no need to defend a point. So you'll naturally be more curious and calm as opposed to being irate and attacking the other person with your reasons and beliefs. And because most people aren't this way, they probably won't understand how, but they will know that something is different about speaking with you. Also, don't be surprised if you being calm actually triggers them to be more angry. That just bothers some people. Just make sure that you keep your cool and leave the situation if necessary, which is pretty much when it's not productive anymore. Number 2, ask Socratic questions. Basically meaning ask questions like how Socrates used to ask questions back in the day. I love this quote by Socrates, which is that true knowledge exists in knowing that you know nothing. He was known for asking questions that took you in so many different directions, questions that made you analyze your own assumptions. He taught through asking these types of questions and helped so many people discover new insights and ideas all on their own, simply by questioning their current beliefs. It's genius. So here are some examples of Socratic questions. What makes you think that? If things were like blank, then would you blank? When would that not be the case? Where did you adapt this idea from? Can you absolutely be sure of blank? So basically, instead of saying your point of view like it's an absolute fact, you ask them open-ended questions that would invoke thought and make them question their current beliefs. The point is to get them to reconsider instead of shoving your own points and views down their throat. Because if you can get them to think about it objectively and question their own assumptions, then it'll be easier for them to agree with you. Not that that's the goal here, but it can't hurt. After all, we are talking about how to win an argument. But you don't want to be so aggressive that they feel attacked, because that's just going to shut them down. Sidney J. Harris says, the most important thing in an argument next to being right is to leave an escape hatch for your opponent so that he can gracefully swing over to your side without too much apparent loss of face. Basically, there's a way to convince people without making them feel stupid, because nobody likes that. Number 3, acknowledge but. J. Sidlow Baxter said, argument need not be heated. It can be punctuated with courteous smiles and sympathetic tears. So this is when you take time to acknowledge the other person's point of view, even if you don't agree with it. By doing this, they'll feel like you're at least listening to them and considering their point of view, even if you don't necessarily stand by it yourself. This is a really important skill when it comes to how to win an argument without making enemies, because this is going to reduce the tension and them feeling like they're being attacked. Most people just want to be heard, and we immediately feel a sense of relief when we feel like our feelings are being acknowledged and validated. So for example, you would say something like, I can understand where you're coming from. I see why you would say that, but personally, I feel blank. Acknowledge but. And when you say you can understand, you won't be lying, because the truth is, the same reason why they believe what they believe is the same reason why you believe what you believe, because it's what you know, it's what you've learned, it's what you've seen, it's what you believe to be true. So you'll be able to understand that that's just what they believe based off what they know. And you'll still be able to express your own ideas and beliefs too. So remember, you don't need to take things personally, which is what skill 1 was all about. Understanding that you're just exchanging ideas and opinions. Why so serious? Number 4, seek clarity and listen as much as you talk. Betsy Sanders said, to learn through listening, listen naively and actively. Naively means that you listen openly, ready to learn something, as opposed to being ready to rebuke. Listening actively means that you acknowledge what you heard and you can act accordingly. So by showing them that you're actually listening and trying to gain further understanding on their point of views, they're going to feel more valued. They're going to be less defensive and more receptive to you. So to do this, you would simply repeat to them what it is that you heard and then wait for confirmation. And this isn't about agreeing or disagreeing. This is literally just about understanding each other so that there's less miscommunication, which again is a really big issue in relationships. So you can say something like this: help me out with this. So what you're saying is, and then repeat what you heard. Am I understanding that correctly? Is that what you mean? And then wait for them to answer. This is going to slow things down a bit and really give a chance for you to both acknowledge and really understand what you each are saying without leaving that room for misunderstanding. I get you. You want to argue? I don't want to argue with you. And lastly, number 5, let them talk. Tim Creeder said, exhausting someone in argument is not the same as convincing them. The moment you start talking over one another, the situation is heated and egos are triggered. All that's happening is attack, attack, attack. You're both just looking to defend a belief. At no point is anything going in. We don't want that. It's a huge waste of time. So the trick to winning an argument without making enemies is to stay cool, calm, and collected by practicing these skills that I'm sharing with you now. When they're rushing and yelling to talk over you or going on and on and on and on, just wait and let them talk. And I realize this could be difficult for some of you, but the point is not to like blank out. You really want to try and listen to them, but not necessarily take all of that in and digest it yourself. Mel Robbins puts it in a really cool way. So she says that basically you can look at it like it's throw up, vomit, right? And it's just coming out. You wouldn't want to just stand right in front of someone who's throwing up and vomiting. You're kind of going to step to the side and, let it spur out and let them do their thing. You're not going to try and stop them, but when they're done, you might say like, okay, are you okay? Are you feeling better now? So when they do stop, because eventually they will, you just want to reply in a calm tone like, okay, thank you for sharing that. That's very interesting. And you have the power and control because you're calm and you were kind of just letting them get that out, where you can now choose if you want to continue this conversation or stop it. Personally, if things are heated, I would stop it because it's really not productive at that point and it's really draining on your energy. And again, your goal isn't to change minds here, it's just to share opinions. When that's boring to you and you've had enough, exit. These skills are practiced by the best of the best and are sure to get you communicating and getting your beliefs and views out with less resistance. They're valuable in any situation and can really change the quality of any conversation, not just arguments. They help you and the other person get more from a conversation and a better exchange of energy. And I mean, it's kind of cool not to look dumb by arguing with someone and losing your head in temper. People laugh at that kind of thing. So what are your thoughts on this? Did I leave anything out? I'd love to hear from you on this topic. Leave in the comments below. What are you going to work on today? Which one of these skills do you resonate with? Okay, till next time, be well. Bye.